For more than 3,500 years, a massive temple complex stood here. But what if I told you that Karnak was never just a temple? What if this place was once an island? A sacred island, where gods, kings, and forgotten rituals shaped the fate of Egypt. Today, we're journeying back in time, peeling back the layers of sand and stone to uncover a secret hidden in plain sight. Most people see Karnak as a sprawling collection of temples, pylons, and obelisks. It's the largest ancient religious site in the world, dedicated primarily to the Theban triad of Amun, Mut, and Khonsu. For centuries, pharaohs added their own monuments, each trying to outdo the last, creating a labyrinth of sacred architecture. But the story of Karnak is far older and stranger than that. To understand it, we need to forget what we see today and imagine what was here at the very beginning. Let's rewind to the dawn of Egypt's Middle Kingdom. Around 2000 BC, the landscape was different. The Nile's floodwaters were untamed, and the area we now know as Luxor was a marshy floodplain. According to ancient Egyptian creation myths, the world began when the first piece of land, a primordial mound known as the Ben, rose from the chaotic waters of Nun. This was the birthplace of all life, the spot where the creator god Adam first appeared. The Egyptians believed that every temple was a symbolic recreation of this first moment of creation, and Karnak, they believed, was not just a symbol, it was the actual, physical location of that primordial mound. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Recent geological surveys and archaeological research are starting to back this up. Scientists have found evidence that the core of the Karnak complex, the area around the original Middle Kingdom court and the sanctuary of Amun-Ra, sits on a natural elevation, a sandbank that would have remained dry even when the Nile flooded its banks. Imagine it. A lone island of stability in a world of annual watery chaos. This wasn't just a convenient place to build. It was a profoundly sacred one. It was a physical embodiment of their creation story. This wasn't just a temple built on solid ground. It was a temple built on the very mound of creation itself. So, Karnak began as a small shrine on an island. The first builders weren't just laying foundations. They were anchoring their civilization to the mythical birthplace of the gods. This belief shaped everything that followed. Every pylon, every hall, every statue was an extension of this sacred core. The famous hypostyle hall, with its forest of 134 massive columns, wasn't just for show. The columns were designed to look like papyrus stalks, symbolizing the marsh that surrounded the primordial mound at the dawn of time. Walking through it was meant to be a journey back to the moment of creation. The ceiling was painted with stars, representing the sky, and the floor represented the fertile earth. The entire temple was a microcosm of the universe. But what happened on this sacred island? The rituals performed here were some of the most important in all of Egypt. The most famous was the Opet festival. During this annual celebration, the statues of the gods, Amun, Mut, and Khonsu would be taken from their shrines in Karnak and placed on sacred barges. They would then travel in a grand procession down the Avenue of the Sphinx to the Luxor Temple, a few kilometers to the south. This wasn't just a parade, it was a ritual of cosmic rejuvenation. The journey symbolized the union of the pharaoh with his divine father, Amun-Ra, which renewed the king's right to rule and ensured the stability and prosperity of the entire kingdom. The fate of Egypt literally depended on the success of this ritual journey, which began and ended on the sacred island of Karnak. As we look closer at the temple's layout, we find even more clues to its island origins. The entire complex is surrounded by a massive mud brick enclosure wall. But inside this wall, there's another key feature: the sacred lake. This man-made lake wasn't just for decoration or for the priests to wash in. It was a symbolic representation of the primeval waters of Nun, from which the sacred mound had risen. The priests would use its water for purification rites, and they would sail modeled boats on it during religious festivals, reenacting the journeys of the sun god Ra across the heavens. The lake was a constant, physical reminder of the temple's connection to the watery chaos of creation. It completed the cosmic landscape, with the temple as the mound, the lake as the primeval ocean, and the surrounding walls as the boundary of the ordered world. For over 1,000 years, pharaohs like Hatshepsut, Thutmose III, and Ramesses the Great continued to build at Karnak, each adding their legacy to the sacred island. They erected towering obelisks, monolithic needles of stone pointing to the sky, symbolizing the sun's rays and acting as a conduit between the earth and the heavens. They built massive gateways, or pylons, that represented the horizon, the point where the sun rose and set each day. The whole complex was a machine for harnessing cosmic energy, and its power source was the belief that this very spot was where the world began. But over time, the landscape changed. The Nile's course shifted, its floods were controlled, and the land around Karnak dried up. The sacred island was slowly swallowed by the growing city of Thebes and the encroaching desert sand. The rituals became less frequent, and with the rise of new religions, the old gods were forgotten. Karnak fell into ruin, its purpose lost, its secrets buried under centuries of debris. What was once the vibrant heart of an empire became a silent ruin, a tourist attraction. But the evidence of its true origin is still there, if you know where to look. When you walk through Karnak today, don't just see the towering columns and faded hieroglyphs. Imagine the water lapping at the temple's edge. Picture the priests performing their rituals on the shores of the sacred lake. See the grand barges of the gods setting sail from this island of creation. Karnak wasn't just a temple. It was the center of the Egyptian universe, a place where mythology became reality, and a small island held the key to the cosmos. It is a testament to the power of a single idea, the idea of a sacred beginning to shape the destiny of one of the world's greatest civilizations. Why did the ancient Egyptians build a massive, secret island in the middle of their capital city? Thebes. Why was this place, for over 2,000 years, completely forbidden to ordinary people, a sacred zone where only the highest priests and the pharaohs themselves could ever step foot? And most intriguing of all, why do modern archaeologists, even with all our technology, still argue passionately about the true purpose of the rituals that happened deep within its most secret chambers? These aren't questions from a fantasy novel. They are real mysteries surrounding one of the most astonishing places on Earth, the Karnak Temple Complex. Today, we're journeying back in time, not just to see the ruins, but to uncover the secrets of a place the Egyptians called the most select of places. This wasn't just a temple, it was a cosmic engine, a city of the gods, and the heart of an empire. So, grab your virtual torch, because we're about to venture where a few have ever been allowed. To understand Karnak, you have to forget everything you think you know about temples. This was less like a church and more like the Vatican City. Area 51 and Wall Street all rolled into one sprawling, sacred complex, spanning over 200 acres. It's the largest religious building ever constructed. To put that in perspective, you could fit nearly 10 Notre Dame cathedrals inside its main precinct alone, and it wasn't built in a few decades. It was a project that spanned the reigns of about 30 different pharaohs, each one adding their own chapels, pylons, and obelisks, trying to outdo the last. It was a continuous work in progress for nearly 2,000 years. The main god worshipped here was Amun-Ra, the king of the gods. But Karnak was more than just his home address. The Egyptians believed this was the literal spot where creation began, the primordial mound that first rose from the dark, chaotic waters of the beginning of time. The entire temple was designed to be a model of the universe in miniature. The floor slowly rises as you walk deeper inside, symbolizing that primeval mound. The ceiling of the great hypostyle hall, a breathtaking forest of 134 giant columns, was painted dark blue with golden stars, representing the night sky. The massive lake within the complex, the sacred lake, represented the primordial waters of creation. Every day, the priests would perform rituals to maintain cosmic order, or they believed that if these rituals stopped, chaos would engulf the world. They would wake the cult statue of Amun-Ra in the darkest, most secret sanctuary, wash it, clothe it in fine linen, and offer it food and drink. This wasn't just symbolism. They believed the spirit of the god himself inhabited the statue. This statue was the engine of the empire. Pharaohs consulted it before going to war, and its divine will, interpreted by the high priests, could decide matters of state. So, why was it forbidden? This gets to the core of Egyptian power. Karnak was the center of immense wealth. It owned vast tracts of land, huge herds of cattle, and controlled mines and trading expeditions. It was a massive economic powerhouse. run by a priesthood that, at times, was even more powerful than the pharaoh. Keeping the public out wasn't just about holiness. It was about protecting the source of their power and knowledge. The complex rituals, the sacred texts written on the walls and hieroglyphs, that only the elite could read it, was all designed to create an aura of mystery and absolute authority. The gods were real, and only the priests and the pharaoh had the hotline. But what about those secret rituals that archaeologists still debate? One of the biggest arguments revolves around the Great Hypostyle Hall. What exactly happened in this colossal forest of stone? Some Egyptologists believe it was the site of the pharaoh's coronation rituals, where he was symbolically transformed from a man into a living god, a conduit between the heavens and the earth. The reliefs on the walls showed the pharaoh being embraced by the gods, receiving the symbols of life and power. It's thought these scenes weren't just decorative, they were a script, a storyboard for a sacred drama that unfolded in the flickering lamplight, with chanting and incense filling the air. Another major mystery is the Opet festival. This was one of the rare times the gods left the temple. The statues of Amun, his wife Mut, and their son Khonsu were placed in sacred boats and carried in a grand procession from Karnak to the nearby Luxor temple, about 1.5 miles away. The entire city of Thebes would celebrate, but once the gods entered the Luxor temple, they again went into a secret sanctuary. What happened there? The leading theory is that this was a festival of divine rebirth and regeneration. It was a ritual to rejuvenate the power of the gods, and, by extension, the pharaoh and the entire land of Egypt. It was the ultimate renewal, ensuring the Nile would flood, the crops would grow, and the kingdom would remain strong. The precise nature of these rituals, however, remains hidden in the coded language of the temple reliefs. Think about the acoustics. Imagine the sound of chanting echoing off those massive stone pillars, the air thick with the smell of burning incense, the only light coming from oil lamps casting long, dancing shadows. It would have been an experience designed to overwhelm the senses, to convince anyone who witnessed it that they were truly in the presence of the divine. The pharaoh would emerge from this ceremony, not just as a king, but as the living embodiment of Horus, the son of Amun-Ra. His power would be absolute, his authority unquestionable. Even today, Karnak keeps its secrets. Archaeologists continue to unearth new sections of the temple, buried for millennia under sand and later settlements. They've found hidden chapels, caches of thousands of statues deliberately buried by the priests, and inscriptions that rewrite what we thought we knew about certain pharaohs. For example, the famous female pharaoh Hatshepsut had many of her images and names erased from the temple by her successor. For centuries, her reign was almost completely lost to history, and it is only by painstakingly piecing together the clues at Karnak and other sites that Wivi rediscovered her story. Each discovery raises new questions. What was the exact function of the botanical garden of Thutmose III? A room carved with detailed images of exotic plants and animals he encountered on his military campaigns. Was it just a monument to his conquests? Or did it have a deeper ritualistic meaning related to the Egyptian understanding of the world? And what about the final days of Karnak? As new religions like Christianity and later Islam rose, the old gods were abandoned. The temples fell silent, their rituals forgotten. The last known hieroglyphic inscription, carved not far from Karnak at Philae, dates to 394 AD. After that, the knowledge of how to read the ancient language was lost for over 1,400 years. Karnak became a ruin, its stones quarried for other buildings, its secrets buried under the sand. It was a silent testament to a lost world. But it wasn't the end of the story. It was just waiting to be rediscovered. Today, walking through Karnak is like walking through the skeleton of a fallen god. The scale is almost impossible to comprehend. You feel utterly dwarfed by the ambition and the faith of the people who built it. It is a place that forces you to confront the immense passage of time and the enduring power of human belief. The mystery of Karnak isn't just about what happened there. It's about what it represented. It was the belief that humanity, through ritual and architecture, could communicate with the divine and maintain the very fabric of the universe. The island in the middle of Thebes wasn't hidden out of fear, but revered as the source of all life and power. It was forbidden not to punish, but to protect. And the arguments of archaeologists today are a testament to the depth of the secrets it still holds. The answers are there, carved in stone, waiting for us to learn their language. For thousands of years, the Karnak temple complex stood as a testament to the power of the Egyptian pharaohs. We saw it as a sprawling city of gods on the banks of the Nile. But what if I told you everything we thought we knew about its location was wrong? What if this monumental structure was never meant to be part of our world at all, revealing a secret that was submerged for millennia? This wasn't just a temple, it was a sacred island, a replica of creation itself, floating on the primeval waters. We're diving deep, not just into history, but into the very canals that separated the divine from the mortal world. We've always pictured Karnak rising majestically from the sandy eastern bank of the Nile. But new archaeological surveys, combined with cutting-edge satellite scans and ground-penetrating radar, have painted a completely different picture. This technology allows us to peel back the layers of time, sand, and modern construction, and what it revealed is extraordinary. Karnak wasn't built on the mainland. It sat on an isolated island, deliberately separated from the surrounding landscape by a network of massive canals and sacred lakes. These weren't just decorative ponds or simple irrigation channels. They formed a profound barrier, a liquid boundary between the realm of mortals and the domain of the gods. Each channel was a symbol representing rebirth, divine power, and sacred protection, creating an island of creation in the middle of the desert. Imagine the Nile during its annual inundation. As the waters rose, they didn't just flood the plains. They intentionally filled these masterfully engineered canals, bringing the island of Karnak to life. This wasn't an accident of geography. It was a cosmic event, planned and executed by the temple architects. The island would appear to float, a self-contained universe dedicated to the sun god Amun-Ra. The very act of the flood was a ritual, a reenactment of the world's creation when the first mound of earth, the Benbon, rose from the primordial waters of Nun. Karnak was that mound. The island was a living, breathing piece of theology, and the canals were the veins that carried its divine lifeblood. This design choice tells us that the temple's location was just as important as its towering pylons and obelisks. It was a statement of cosmic order. To the ancient Egyptians, crossing these waters was more than a physical journey. It was a spiritual transition, a passage from the profane to the sacred, from earth to a mirror of the heavens. Access was not for everyone. Only the pharaoh, seen as a living god, and the highest-ranking priests had the authority to navigate these divine canals. They would travel in sacred barges along processional routes, following stone causeways that were not placed randomly. These paths were meticulously aligned with the stars, charting courses that mirrored the celestial journeys of the gods. Every pillar they passed, every obelisk that pierced the sky, every sacred lake that reflected the sun was positioned with cosmic precision. The entire island was a massive, three-dimensional map of the Egyptian universe, designed to channel divine energy and replicate the moment of creation itself. The symbolism was everywhere. The canals and lakes surrounding Karnak were physical manifestations of Nun, the primeval, chaotic waters from which all life emerged. By encircling the temple with water, the builders were creating a protective and regenerative boundary. Inside this aquatic barrier, the temple precinct became the first land, the sacred mound of creation. The hieroglyphs that cover every surface of Karnak reinforced this idea. The sacred lakes within the complex were used for ritual purification, where priests would cleanse themselves before entering the holiest sanctuaries. This wasn't just about hygiene. It was about spiritual rebirth, washing away the mortal world to become worthy of standing in the presence of a god. So, how did this incredible island city function? The canals weren't just symbolic. They were a logistical marvel. They connected Karnak directly to the Nile, allowing for the transport of massive stone blocks, statues, and obelisks, some weighing hundreds of tons. Barges laden with offerings from across the empire would dock at the temple's quays, which have now been rediscovered. But more importantly, the waterways were central to religious festivals. During the Grand Opet Festival, the statues of the gods, Amun, Mut, and Khunsu would be placed on ceremonial barks and floated down the canals, from Karnak to the Luxor Temple. This wasn't just a parade, it was a public display of divine power, a journey the gods took to regenerate their energy and reaffirm their connection to the pharaoh and the people. The entire city of Thebes would watch as this divine flotilla sailed across the sacred waters, reinforcing the cosmic order. One of the most mind-blowing aspects of this discovery is the temple's connection to the sky. The layout of the island, the orientation of the causeways, and the placement of the temples weren't just based on aesthetics. They formed a celestial clock. Key structures were aligned to the solstices and equinoxes, so that on specific days of the year, the rising or setting sun would illuminate a particular chapel or doorway, signaling a divine event. To mine, east-west axis of the temple, for example, is perfectly aligned with the rising sun of the winter solstice. The island of Karnak wasn't just a reflection of the heavens, it was an active participant in its cycles. This new understanding forces us to reevaluate what a temple really was to the ancient Egyptians. Karnak was not just a place of worship, it was an economic powerhouse, a center of learning, and a political symbol. But at its core, it was a machine for maintaining Matha, cosmic balance of order, truth, and justice. By creating this sacred island, the hidden island of Karnak was the engine room of the Egyptian cosmos. For centuries, this truth lay buried, forgotten as the canals silted up and the desert reclaimed the land. The bustling port city of Thebes grew around it, and the memory of the sacred island faded into myth. Why was it forgotten? After the fall of the New Kingdom, Egypt faced political instability and foreign invasions. The colossal resources needed to maintain such an elaborate water system likely became unsustainable. The annual Nile flood also became less predictable. Over time, the canals clogged with sand and debris, and the island slowly merged with the mainland. Later generations, including the Greeks and Romans who marveled at Karnak, would have seen it much as we did, until now a magnificent complex, but one firmly planted on the ground. The secret of the island was lost, waiting for the tools of the 21st century to bring it back to the surface. This discovery is more than just a new chapter in a history book. It transforms our visit to Karnak. Every step you take is on land that was once submerged, a path once traveled only by priests and kings in their holy barges. This revelation gives Karnak a new dimension of magic and mystery. It reminds us that there are still so many secrets hidden beneath the sands, waiting to reshape our understanding of the ancient world. What we see is only a fraction of the story. For over 2 millennia, the pharaohs of Egypt poured their wealth and power into one colossal sacred site, Karnak, spanning more than 200 acres. It's the largest religious building ever constructed. But Karnak is more than just a collection of temples, obelisks, and pylons. It was the beating heart of the Egyptian empire, a place where the divine and the mortal world intersected. For centuries, its secrets were guarded by powerful priests and pharaohs, hidden from the outside world. But now, new discoveries are peeling back the layers of this ancient enigma, revealing a story far more complex and mysterious than we ever imagined. What was the true purpose of Karnak? Why did pharaohs dedicate generations to its construction? And what secrets still lie buried beneath its sands? Around 2000 BC, the pharaohs of the Middle Kingdom established their capital at Thebes. Here, a local deity named Amun began to gain prominence. Originally a god of the air and wind, Amun was merged with the sun god Ra, becoming Amun-Ra, the king of the gods. To honor him, the pharaohs began constructing a modest shrine at the most select of places. This was the seed from which the mighty Karnak would grow. Over the next 2,000 years, nearly every pharaoh would add to the complex, each trying to outdo their predecessors. They built massive gateways, towering columns, and sacred lakes, transforming Karnak into a city of gods, a mirror of the heavens on earth. It was a statement of power, a declaration that the pharaoh was the chosen intermediary between humanity and the divine. The very layout of Karnak was a cosmic map. The main east-west axis tracked the course of the sun, representing the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Each pylon, or monumental gateway, was a symbolic barrier, leading the faithful deeper into sacred space, closer to the home of the god. The deeper you went, the more restricted the access became. The general public was only allowed into the outer courts. Only priests and the pharaoh could enter the darkest, most holy sanctuary at its heart. Perhaps the most breathtaking part of Karnak is the great hypostyle hall. Imagine walking into a forest of stone, 134 colossal columns, some reaching nearly 80 feet high, fill a space large enough to contain the entire Notre Dame Cathedral. These columns, carved to resemble papyrus stalks, were meant to symbolize the primordial marsh from which the world was created. The ceiling, now gone, was painted a deep blue and studded with golden stars, representing the night sky. Sunlight filtered through high clear-story windows, creating an ethereal, otherworldly atmosphere. This wasn't just architecture, it was theology carved in stone. Walking through this hall was a journey through creation itself. The sheer scale is almost impossible to comprehend. Each column is covered in intricate hieroglyphs and reliefs depicting the pharaohs making offerings to the gods. Building this hall was a monumental undertaking that spanned the reigns of several kings, most notably Seti I and his famous son, Ramesses II. It was their ultimate testament to the power of Amun and, by extension, their own divine right to rule. Even today, standing in the shadow of these giants, you can't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder. For thousands of years, we thought we knew the secrets of Karnak. We mapped its temples, translated its inscriptions, and walked in the footsteps of pharaohs. But in 2023, a stunning discovery changed everything. While conducting routine conservation work in the Western Courtyard, a place far from the main tourist path, archaeologists stumbled upon a structure hidden beneath the flagstones. It was a chamber no one expected, a room sealed and buried for millennia. As they carefully excavated, they found something extraordinary inside. Fragments of stone inscriptions. These weren't royal decrees or lists of offerings. They spoke of a mysterious ritual, a ceremony called the opening of the gates of heaven. The texts are broken, tantalizingly incomplete, but they hint at a powerful rite, one that might have been considered the ultimate purpose of the entire Karnak complex. Why was this chamber hidden? Why were these inscriptions deliberately buried? Was this knowledge too powerful, or perhaps too dangerous, to be left in the open? And why did generations of pharaohs go to such lengths to protect it? The discovery of this lost chamber opens a new chapter in Karnak's history, suggesting that the temple's greatest secrets may have been deliberately concealed. Karnak was never just a spiritual center, it was a political powerhouse. The temple controlled vast estates, gold mines, and a huge portion of Egypt's economy. This immense wealth gave the priesthood of Amun unprecedented influence. They were not just religious leaders, they were kingmakers, advisors, and at times, rivals to the throne. Whoever controlled Karnak, with its divine authority and immense riches, effectively controlled Egypt. This led to an epic power struggle that defined centuries of Egyptian history. The priests of Amun became so powerful that they even challenged the authority of the pharaohs themselves. Some pharaohs fought back. The great female pharaoh Hatshepsut asserted her power by erecting magnificent obelisks, symbols of the sun god that linked her directly to the divine, bypassing the priests. His revolution was short-lived. After his death, his successors, including Tutankhamun, quickly restored Amun and returned the court to Thebes. The priests had won. The reliefs of Seti I, covering the walls of the hypostyle hall, show the king not just honoring the gods, but re-establishing order, symbolically crushing the enemies of Egypt and the heresy of Karnak had survived its greatest challenge, proving that its power was more enduring than any single pharaoh. The discovery of the lost chamber and its cryptic inscriptions forces us to re-examine everything we know about Karnak. What was this opening of the gates of heaven ritual? The fragmented texts seem to describe a ceremony involving light, sound, and precise astronomical alignments. The chamber itself is oriented towards a specific point on the horizon where a star, perhaps Sirius, would have risen on a key date in the Egyptian calendar. Could Karnak have been a kind of cosmic machine, designed to channel celestial energy and open a gateway between the earthly and divine realms? This isn't just about religion, it's about a sophisticated understanding of astronomy and acoustics. Researchers now speculate that the vast holes and pylons weren't just decorative. They may have been engineered to amplify sound, creating specific frequencies that would have been part of these powerful rituals. The play of light and shadow, particularly during solstices and equinoxes, was also crucial. At certain times of the year, Beams of light would have pierced the darkness of the inner sanctuaries, illuminating specific statues or reliefs at precise moments. This was divine theater on a grand scale, designed to convince all who witnessed it of the pharaoh's unique connection to the gods. The opening of the gates might have been the ultimate expression of this belief, a secret ritual known only to the highest initiates. A moment when the veil between worlds grew thin. As we stand here today, amidst the ruins of this incredible place, we are left with more questions than answers. The legacy of Karnak is a testament to the ambition, faith, and ingenuity of ancient Egyptian civilization. For 2,000 years, it was the center of their universe, a place where humanity reached for the heavens. The pharaohs and priests who built and guarded this sacred site are long gone, but their secrets remain, etched in stone and buried beneath the sands. The discovery of the lost chamber is a powerful reminder that history is not a closed book. There are still chapters waiting to be read, mysteries waiting to be solved. What other hidden chambers lie waiting to be found? What other rituals have been lost to time? The sands of Karnak are still shifting, and with each new discovery, the line between myth and reality, between temple and machine, becomes ever more blurred. The quest to understand Karnak is a quest to understand the very soul of ancient Egypt, and it's a journey that is far from over. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie buried beneath the sands of Egypt? We all know the pyramids, the Sphinx, and the Valley of the Kings. But what if I told you the greatest mystery of all is hidden in plain sight, within the largest religious complex ever built, Karnak? For centuries, we've seen it as a vast collection of temples, pylons, and obelisks dedicated to the gods. But newly deciphered ancient scrolls paint a far more astonishing picture. They describe Karnak not merely as a place of worship, but as a cosmic gateway, a machine built to connect our world with the heavens. These texts speak of powerful rituals performed by high priests, not just to honor the gods, but to actively renew the world and maintain the very fabric of the cosmos. Imagine a place on Earth believed to hold the universe in balance. As we venture deeper into Karnak's labyrinthine corridors, we find secrets the ancient Egyptians never wanted us to see. Hidden chambers, sealed for millennia, are covered in carvings that depict ceremonies far different from the public festivals. These were secret rites, performed in darkness, accessible only to the highest initiates. What were they doing in these hidden rooms? Some carvings show priests holding strange objects, chanting before sealed doors, and making offerings to unseen forces. One theory suggests they were attempting to communicate directly with the gods, or perhaps something even more profound. These weren't just prayers. They were complex, scientific procedures designed to harness divine energy. The inscriptions hint at a power so immense that it had to be contained, shielded from the outside world. This is where the story gets even more incredible. Recent satellite imaging and ground-penetrating radar have revealed something extraordinary about Karnak's original layout. It wasn't built on the mainland as we see it today. Thousands of years ago, Karnak was an island. It sat isolated in the middle of a massive, artificially created sacred lake, connected to the Nile by a series of canals. This wasn't just for aesthetic beauty or for defense. For the ancient Egyptians, water was a powerful symbol. It represented the primordial ocean from which all life emerged, and it was the boundary between the world of the living and the Duat, the realm of the gods. To cross the water and set foot on the island of Karnak was to undergo a spiritual transformation. You were leaving the mortal world behind and entering a divine space, a place where the veil between humanity and eternity was at its thinnest. This entire complex was a meticulously engineered spiritual machine. The purpose of this sacred island was protection, not from human invaders, but from spiritual chaos. The Egyptians believed that the sacred rituals performed at Karnak's core generated immense power. The surrounding water acted as a magical barrier, a liquid insulator to contain this energy and purify all who entered. Think of it like a modern-day clean room for a sensitive experiment, but on a spiritual level. Every element of the temple's design, from the orientation of its gates to the plants grown in its sacred gardens, was part of this grand cosmic scheme. The temple itself was seen as a living entity, and the daily rituals were its heartbeat, pumping life-giving energy not just into Egypt, but into the entire world. But the most intriguing part is what lay at the very center of this island sanctuary. At the heart of Karnak, within the most restricted area known as the Holy of Holies. Something incredible was said to have occurred. According to temple records, this is where the statue of the god Amun-Ra would come to life. Priests claimed that during the peak of their rituals, the divine spirit would inhabit the golden statue. It wasn't just a symbol. For them, it was the physical manifestation of the god on earth. They would speak to it, ask for guidance, and receive answers that would decide the fate of the nation. Was this mass delusion a clever priestly trick, or did they truly tap into a form of consciousness we no longer understand? The energy they believed they were channeling was called Heka, or magic. But to them, it was a fundamental force of nature, like gravity or light, and they believed Karnak was the ultimate amplifier for this force. Now, let's connect this to a modern scientific concept. Resonance? The idea that certain frequencies can affect physical matter. The entire Temple of Karnak is built with incredible precision. Its massive stone walls, towering columns, and enclosed chambers create unique acoustic properties. The canals that created the sacred island silted up, and the desert sand slowly reclaimed the land, burying the truth. The temple fell silent. The intricate machine that was once tuned to the cosmos fell out of harmony. What we see today is the magnificent shell of something far more complex and powerful than we can imagine. A silent monument to a lost science, and a forgotten connection to the universe. The secrets of Karnak are a powerful reminder that our ancestors were not primitive people. They possessed a deep understanding of the world, expressed through the language of myth and ritual. They built wonders that continue to defy our understanding, not just with brute force, but with profound wisdom. Karnak wasn't just a temple, it was a blueprint of the cosmos, a place where science and spirit were one and the same. And as we continue to peel back the layers of sand and time, who knows what other secrets we will uncover? Perhaps the greatest discovery is yet to be made, waiting for us to find the right key, or maybe the right frequency. Imagine, for over 3.5 millennia, the grandest temple complex in human history, Karnak, stood as the very heart of ancient Egypt. It was a city of gods, a sprawling testament to pharaonic power, with towering obelisks, colossal statues, and halls of countless columns. But what if I told you that this entire time, Karnak was hiding a monumental secret in plain sight? A secret so profound it changes everything we thought we knew about this sacred place. Recent discoveries, using cutting-edge satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar, have peeled back the layers of sand and time to reveal something astonishing. Karnak wasn't just a collection of temples on the bank of the Nile. It was an island, not just the Nile, but a complex and deliberate network of canals, artificial lakes, and sacred waterways. Think about that for a moment. This wasn't just about impressive landscaping. The water was a living, breathing boundary, a formidable barrier separating the chaotic, mortal world from the divine, orderly cosmos within the temple walls. It was a liquid fortress of faith. Only the highest priests and the pharaoh himself, the living god on earth, were permitted to cross this sacred threshold. The journey across the water was more than just a boat ride. It was a profound act of transformation, a ritual passage from the human realm into a place of rebirth, magic, and immense spiritual power. So, how do we know this? Archaeologists are now uncovering the physical evidence. They've found traces of submerged foundations deep beneath the desert floor, remnants of ancient quays where ceremonial barges would have docked. These weren't simple bridges, they were sacred paths, meticulously aligned with the stars, the movements of the sun, and the life-giving annual flood of the Nile. Every single element of this water world was designed with cosmic purpose. Every channel, every pylon, every obelisk pointed towards a celestial event, locking the temple into the cycles of the universe. The symbolism here is incredibly deep. The leading theory is that the island of Karnak was a physical representation of the Zep Tepi. The first time, the Egyptian creation myth. The temple itself was the primeval mound, the first patch of land to emerge from the endless, chaotic waters of Nun, the cosmic ocean from which all life was born. By creating this island, the ancient Egyptians were literally recreating the birth of the universe every single day. To enter Karnak was to step back in time, to walk on the first land, to be present at the dawn of creation. It was a journey into the mythological heart of their entire belief system. Imagine the processions, the pharaoh's golden barge gliding across the silent, sacred lake, its reflection shimmering on the water as chants echo from the temple walls. It wasn't just a ceremony, it was a reenactment of the god's own journey. This island design also explains so many of Karnak's enduring mysteries. The strange placement of certain chapels, the seemingly random orientation of smaller shrines, and the massive now dry basins that dot the landscape. They weren't random at all. They were all part of this intricate aquatic network, each with its own ritual purpose. Some basins were likely used for purification rites, where priests would cleanse themselves before entering the inner sanctums. It was a self-contained world, a microcosm of the Egyptian universe, teeming with symbolic life. But this discovery also raises a chilling question. What happened to the island? Over millennia, the channels silted up, the lakes evaporated, and the relentless desert sands moved in, burying the secrets of the waterways. Floods, conquests, and the slow decay of time erased the island from memory, leaving only the stone skeleton we see today. But the evidence suggests that the heart of this island, the most sacred and central structures, are still hidden. Ground-penetrating radar shows anomalies, voids, and structures deep beneath the surface chambers and passageways that have once seen the light of day in thousands of years. What knowledge were the priests guarding so fiercely on this isolated, divine island? What rituals were performed in these submerged crypts, away from the eyes of even the common people? The ancient texts are filled with whispers of secret knowledge, of powerful spells and rituals that could influence the gods and shape the destiny of the nation. Was this knowledge stored in a library hidden within the island's core? Did the priests guard artifacts of immense power, relics from the time of the gods themselves? The fact that they went to such lengths to create a physical and spiritual barrier around the temple suggests they were protecting something of unimaginable importance, something that even the pharaohs, with all their power, may have feared. The priests of Amun were a force unto themselves, at times rivaling the pharaoh in wealth and influence. Their sacred island was the source of that power. We are standing on the precipice of a new era of discovery at Karnak. As archaeologists and scientists combine their expertise, they are slowly, carefully mapping this lost water world. Each new scan, each new excavation, brings us closer to understanding the true nature of this incredible place. It forces us to look at Karnak not as a static monument of stone, but as a living, dynamic environment that was constantly changing with the water levels in the ritual calendar. We are beginning to see it through the eyes of the ancient Egyptians, as a place of immense power, mystery, and divine presence. The island of the gods is re-emerging from the sands of time, and the secrets it holds could rewrite history. The journey to uncover them has only just begun. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey back in time to the lost island of Karnak. It just goes to show that history is a living field, constantly evolving with each new discovery. If you found this as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of the past. What do you think the opening of the gates of heaven ritual was? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you next time.